Hello everybody and welcome back. I have something very different for you today. Over the years I have been repeatedly asked if there was any missing 411 cases here in the UK. Now for people not familiar with that term, 411 was a book of reports made by an American gentleman named David Paulides, I think that's how you pronounce it, and he wrote a book about the missing people in the national parks in the US, and he wondered if any of the cases there are related to the Bigfoot sightings in the parks themselves, or purely a matter of bad luck, or mechanical injury, or even on occasion a human predator of some kind. Now, along with wildcats, wolves and bears, there is a very large percentage of missing people, as you can imagine. And I've always just poo-pooed the question, to be fair, until, like all things, serendipity was at play, and I was contacted by a number of researchers and interested parties who had missing people cases to share with me. So I thought I'd start where all this started for me and look at my local town quite close to Manchester, and I was shocked at the things that I found. Now this is only the first of many articles to come on this subject, as I have been inundated with reports from all across the UK. And the first one comes from my local area, and the Manchester Evening News, which is a local newspaper, reported on the 28th of November 2018 that police check missing persons list after a human leg was found in the River Irwell. Police are checking a list of missing people after human remains, believed to be a leg, were recovered from the River Irwell in Salford. The force says inquiries into the circumstances are ongoing. The alarm was raised by a passerby. Emergency services were scrambled to a stretch of the river near the Red Jubilee Bridge off Britannia Street. Now, the North West Police underwater search and marine unit were also sent in. A large cordon was erected as the investigation began. The bridge was closed off with officers standing guard. The Jubilee Bridge spans the river from Littleton Road playing fields at Lower Kersal to the Whit Lane area of the city, less than a few hundred yards from the Kersal Cell, a well-known paranormal hotspot with reports of dark cloaked figures being reported, said to be the monks that have inhabited Kersale as it was known in 1152, and they farmed the land there until about the 1500s. Now, you can read the paranormal accounts on Facebook, and there is a link to that underneath, and it's Haunted Kersal, if you want to have a look. Now, the area has one of the most recent sightings of the Salford Wildman, and this was in January of 2017, and the sightings of which go back to the 1970s. So, police divers were seen entering the water, and other officers were seen trawling the banks of the river. Witnesses said 2 black bags were later placed in a van by police after being pulled from the water. Witness Stacey Sherratt, 29, said, "I first heard the sirens around 11 a.m, so I came outside and saw a boat pulling up with 2 black bags. I saw someone pulling a rope to bring the boat back in, and then they put the 2 bags on the floor and put them in the van." Police have released a few details about the incident. There was, however, a discovery made 2 weeks later. Now, they never actually said whether the legs were found in the bags, or the bags were used to transport the legs after recovery. So I'm not really certain on that point. And the body turned out to be 58-year-old Marie Scott, and Marie had not been seen for almost a year. DNA testing then confirmed the leg belonged to her. The force said an investigation is ongoing, but at this stage there is no reason to believe there was any foul play or any suspicious circumstances. Marie was last seen heading to a local shopping centre. I find that very, very strange that there was no suspicious circumstances. Where is the rest of Marie? And also along the Irwell, and reported by the BBC in 2011, was a really strange case of Nathan Tomlinson. Police investigating the disappearance of Nathan, who went missing after a Christmas party, are trying to identify a body found in the River Irwell. Nathan Tomlinson, 21, of Stockport, was last seen leaving the Mitre Hotel near Manchester Cathedral on the 17th of December 2011. Police believe he asked a bus driver how to get back to Stockport before he was captured on CCTV walking through Salford near the River Irwell. Now, there is some dispute all these years on about that piece of footage. Nathan's mum, after years and years of getting no answers, employed a private detective, and he was able to prove that the video, the CCTV footage that was claimed to be Nathan, was probably another man entirely. So they don't really have any evidence of where he headed when he left the city centre, but he was found in the Irwell. And a later report said a man's body was found near Meadow Road in Lower Broughton, Greater Manchester, and Mr Tomlinson's family had been informed. Footage released by the police that may show Mr Tomlinson leaving the bar and jumping over a wall near the cathedral before walking across to Victoria Street. And as I say, there is now some dispute about that. As part of our inquiries to trace Mr Tomlinson, officers carried out a week-long operation in the area around the University of Salford, Peel Park and Buell Park, and Salford Crescent Railway Station. A police spokesman said, "The identity is confirmed as that of Nathan. A post-mortem examination has taken place. Further tests to establish the exact cause of death are to be carried out, but there are not believed to be any suspicious circumstances. The body was recovered near Meadow Road in Lower Broughton. Nathan must have been lost and fallen into the water on his walk home." Now, in the same area, there's another case of a missing man who was found in the River Irwell under no suspicious circumstances. A report in the Trafford Local News dated October 2018 stated police are piecing together the movements of a Salford man in the days before he was found dead in a river. The body of 62-year-old Stephen Jordan was sadly found in the River Irwell near to the Cromwell Bridge in Higher Broughton on Sunday the 7th of October 2018. The area is less than a mile from the Littleton Road site where missing Marie Scott's severed leg was found, and as discussed above, this was also found in no suspicious circumstances. In the case of Mr Jordan, the coroner stated, there were not believed to be any suspicious circumstances surrounding his death, and a Home Office post-mortem examination concluded in October 2018 proved inconclusive. Police are trying to piece together Stephen's movements, with the last confirmed sighting of him being on the 24th of September at his house on Leven Street. And I used to actually live in Leven Street, believe it or not. I think we lived at 38. And if I remember correctly, you know the little terrace streets that everybody associates with Manchester? Well, it was 3 streets away from the Irwell. There was a factory there called Weston's, if I remember. It was one of my very first jobs. But all of the areas mentioned in this report are home to me. And it would seem that none of these deaths have been linked to the pusher. They did not happen in the busy centre of Manchester, but further out of the city in the small neighbourhoods of Salford and Bury. The Irwell itself runs north to Ramsbottom area of Lancashire, and the missing and sadly deceased people are also being found all along the route. Is it the River Irwell itself that calls to people? Or is it just a sad fact of our society that people go missing or turn up in our local river and it's barely noted? No huge headlines or hundreds of police out looking for clues, just to start a small statement in a local rag that will never make the national newspapers, as the postcode is not M1. And as we follow the Irwell to its source, we will see the same pattern over again. Breaking news. Body found in Canal is that of missing Bury man Stephen Dyson. CCTV footage of a missing man from Bury has been released by Greater Manchester police officers. Stephen Dyson, 22, was last seen at 9 a.m. on Monday, the 1st of January, leaving a New Year's Eve party on St Andrew's Close in Ramsbottom. The CCTV footage shows Stephen on the day that he was last seen at Longsight Derby Station around 4 a.m. and then later that morning using a cash machine on Bridge Street at around 6 a.m. Detective Inspector Vicky Shaw of GMP's Berryborough said it's been 5 days since Stephen was last seen and his friends and family are worried sick. Searches will continue around the Nuttall Lane area, with officers being reported by the underwater search unit and the dog unit to find Stephen. I understand. Officers being supported, meaning that they are being helped. We had lots of help from people in searching for Stephen so far, and we asked for people in the area to please check your sheds and garages in case he is seeking shelter. It is likely that he's still in need of medical attention, which is why it is so important that we find Stephen as soon as we can. A body found yesterday by police searching for Stephen Dyson has been confirmed to be that of the missing Berry man. Officers searching for the missing 22-year-old found the body yesterday morning in the River Irwell in Bury, near the Railway Street. Greater Manchester Police said yesterday that there are not believed to be any suspicious circumstances surrounding this man's death. And the body of an elderly man that was found in the River Irwell behind the Salford Casino, not too far away from Broughton Bridge, was also being treated as not suspicious, police confirmed in October of 2014. The circumstances surrounding the body of an elderly man who was recovered from the River Irwell in Salford yesterday evening and not being treated as suspicious, police have confirmed. Officers were called around 7 p.m. on Wednesday after a body was spotted from the towpath near the A57 Regent Road behind the Grosvenor Casino in Salford. An underwater diver team recovered the body of a man believed to be in his 60s, though he has not yet been identified. A formal identity process is now due to take place at Greater Manchester Police, and they have now confirmed that they believe there were no suspicious circumstances around the man's death. Now, as I normally report paranormal and cryptid reports, it does stand out now when I see a missing person found close to one of the sighting areas, due to people always asking me that question. So, at Alcombe Moor, there's an account from a serving soldier on duties who saw, along with his partner, a huge hairy ape-man type creature on 2 occasions in the 1980s. So when the story of a missing local woman, Valerie Weston, appeared in the paper, it caught my interest. And police are searching for a missing woman, have found a body in the River Irwell close to Bury Town Centre. Officers were called to a stretch of the river close to Bury Grammar School after a passerby spotted what he thought was a body. The discovery is reported to be connected to the disappearance of Valerie Weston, aged 58, of Chapel Terrace, Ramsbottom, who was last seen at home at 10:50 p.m. by neighbours who had left her address after spending an evening with her. A Lancashire police spokesman said there are no suspicious circumstances and a file will be prepared for the coroner. Inspector Andy Carter of Lancashire Police said, we believe she went out for a wander in the back garden at 11 p.m. at night and fell into the river. Now, of course, all of the above could be mere coincidental, as the river has claimed many over the decades, and many of them have been by accident. And, of course, the old human murderer who used the Irwell to cover up their crimes. So when looking for bodies found along her route, I found the story of as old as 1814, and that was the death of Lavinia Robinson, the Manchester Ophelia. The body of 20-year-old Lavinia Robinson was found in the River Irwell on the 7th of February 1814, over 7 weeks after she went missing from her home in Manchester. Had she done away with herself, or as some suspect, was she pushed into the water? Lavinia's family reported her missing to the police office and advertised a reward of 30 guineas for her return, alive or dead. During their agonising wait, in the middle of a particularly cold winter, the Irwell froze over. Their hopes may have been raised when a young woman arrived in distress at the home of the then magistrate in Thatcham. He suspected that she might be Lavinia Robinson, and when questioned she claimed that she was, but it turned out that she was lying. Finally, at the end of February, the ice on the Irwell began to break up, and Mr. Goodyear, a mill worker, came across Lavinia's body on a sandbank at Barton. She was still in a fawn-coloured gown she was wearing on the night she left her home, a pink and yellow handkerchief, pardon me, and she had lost a shoe, her mantle and a black beaver hat. The next day, a 2-day inquest opened at the Star Inn under the coroner Nathaniel Milne. He stated that Lavinia Robinson was found drowned in the River Irwell, but how or by what means she came into the water he could not be certain. There was not enough evidence for a murder charge, nor for the certainty that Lavinia had committed suicide. The inscription on her gravestone included the following lines: "More lasting than in lines of art, the spotless characters impressed, the worth engraved on every heart, the loss bewailed in every breast." Sadly, sometimes it is simply a case of bad things happen to good folks. I checked other rivers in the UK and I found a similar set of missing people and people who are found dead or vanished in UK woodlands where the cause of death is unknown. A short search over the last month has brought forward so many of these events that I will bring you these reports from Ballincollig and Polkemmet in Scotland, Bluebell Hill and Rendlesham, Yorkshire, Box Hill, Epping Forest in England, and many more as the months go on. Do you know of any mysterious missing people who have turned up in rivers or woodlands in suspicious circumstances? If so, please get in touch. Until next time, thank you very much. Good night.